Sarze, Sarze, giz you guys. Sarze. So guys, we are on our 13th day of Heart Tortured Heart novel, and right now we were on chapter 31, and we must complete at least 2 chapters today. Means we must go to 33 for tomorrow, so that we can complete our novel reading session as soon as possible, because we have to start something else on this routine, which is very precious. And I have to take my copy to write words, guys. Okay. The sound of metal against metal steel echoed faintly. We got our word, faintly. This is word 19. FAINTLY. Faintly. Behind me as I pushed open the door of the training facility. The air outside was sharp with the early morning chill, the sky tinted and fainted grey blue. I gazed behind me as the door closed shut, and through the glass I could see Landon still there training. I think we had completed that particular story or chapter, we can say, and we should to move to our next chapter. And the chapter is 32, 32, 32. We finished the breakfast and quickly girls walked back stairs to get changed into better clothes for training and checked up. लगता है 32 भी पढ़ लिया मैंने, लेकिन फिर भी देखता हूँ मैं थोड़ा सा और पढ़ के. I checked on some tails of black suits and black long sleeves. I tied my hair up in sleek ponytail, and I was ready to go. This is the next big step for me. The last time I trained with the class, it was my first day, and I completely made fool of myself. Okay, guys, I want to change that. We met with the others and made our way towards this training facility. The crisp morning air filled our lungs, and smell of fresh cut grasses filled our senses. I could see everyone's warm breath, lips, their mouths, and entire air as they walked. Okay. Up ahead, Flanny walked beside Landon, who joined us later, as well as Alex had bowed as they talked in low voice. Flanny's expression was calm as always. As always, kind of. As always, but Landon's sharp profile caught the faint morning light as his jaw tightened and unrevealed. He had said a word to anyone this morning. I wasn't sure if it was a blessing or a warning. I think it might be a warning. So the group reached the touring doubles door of the training facility, and as we stepped inside, the temperature shifted. The air turned colder, humming faintly with low pulse of electricity. Normally, the window white space would be right, mentally blocked combat mat, raw was weapons rack. But this morning, the room was different. It was dim, light only by the still blue lights during the Lux sometimes felt different. Okay, crispy, Tilly murmured to us. The sound of boosts echoed. Mr. Kelly, or should I say Commando Kiri? ओए ये तो शायद पढ़ लिया था मैंने अच्छा शायद आधा पढ़ा था मैंने आरिफ my memory space the group Adri please tell me this doesn't involve those drones against okay I consider even the air seems to still my heart give a sharp jolt. I haven't done even enough training for this. I'm not prepared with how went last night. I won't let long at all. Frankie raised a hand half-heartedly, defining mock. Commander Kelly gas swept the room. You will be placed in a live environment where teamwork, stealth, and adaptability are crucial. Your objectives is simple: capture the marked target and return it to your boss or base. Sounds simple enough, right? Sounds too easy, Frankie said, surprisingly under her breath. However, guards will be stipend though the field. They are programmed to react to sound, heat, and movements. If you are triggered, considers yourself neutralized. Tilly murmured under her breath. Great humans, laser tag of death. Two teams, Killy continued, ignoring the comment, each with a designed leader. But you will not know who your opponents are until the simultaneity begins. Okay, okay. The in the room grew louder. My pulses quickened. Then Commander Kiri and the two instructor lifted their table and tapped a sequence of commands. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, out of nowhere, the floor vibrated. The ceiling's lights flickered and began to shift in colors from cold blue to deep green. The works, though solid strips, splendid after charging six with low megalith hiss, a fantilorous hiss from hidden vents, and suddenly the still six cohesive mental was replaced by damp earth, pain, and rain. I was losing my mind. I honestly couldn't even imagine explaining this to anyone. Holy crap, Tilly whispered. The entire room was changing. The ground beneath us rapidly and reformed, metal morphing into dust and roots. Digital projections and physical mechanism blend seamlessly. Trees unfolded from the walls, branches spread overhead until they formed a conspiracy that filtered a haze little through shifting levels. The air turned humbled. Cricket chipped, a bird even called out in the distance. My lips parted. It wasn't just a hologram, it felt real. The roughness of the bark, the scent of moss, even the soft give the soil under the bush. Flanning looked around in quiet eye. They were clearly upgraded. The simultaneously, this is insane. Landon crossed his arm. About time. He didn't look impressed. Commander Kelly waited for the moments to settle before speaking again. This forest covers give kilometers of mapped trained. The simulation will begin once team are assigned and you are received your brief. His gaze glitched, laid briefly on Landon, then to Flanny, and then on me. The messages were clear. I tried to strengthen my shoulder, trying to quit the fluidly in my chest. The forehead, the forest seems to be breathed. Levels rusted high above them, and the beams of light broke. So the canopy dust motes spinning resin in the air like defeating gold. Somewhere in the distance, water tinkled, the faint rhythm of the streams echoing through the trees. The air was thickening with the scents of earth. It was felt damp and alive. I know if I knew better, I could have sworn I was outside. The ground sequelized softly and rufted. Tilly instead buzzes faster than eyes. The humus almost was sterile. When it touched a nearby tree, the bark was coarse. My fingerprints brushing against the crops and mops. This is insane. Frankie blusted beside her, turning, swallowing his cracker. It's stilly and focused noodles. Feels like one. Tilly shed, crunching to poke at a patch of mushrooms. Even though ground weight, they really went all out. Adidas blinked. You are acting like this isn't a boarding school for gently assassins. Of course, they had magic forest simulation. Fair point, still mud. Like a begged. Team will be announced now. You all have 1 minute to group up before the simultaneously began. Okay. The holographic trees shifted faintly as though the air itself responded to his command. On the far wall, what had once been cold metal, now hidden behind the illusions of thick forest. Holography numbers flared to live casting. Light against the trunks. Team Alpha. He announced. Flanny, Octavia, Adira, Alex. He continued to name around 5 other students. My heart gave a quiet thump. Thump. Flanny's gaze found her. Guess we are partners then, he said. Because before I could answer, Kelly's voice cut again. Team Bravo, Landon, Tilly, Frankie, Henry, and continue to the name other students. Landon didn't move, but his eyes flicked briefly to me. A heartbeat, a look sharp enough to send a severe through me, and then he turned away. Your objective, he continued as he stepped forward. The blue and red holographic light from the wrist display painting sharp lines across his uniform is to participate your team make a capsule and deliver it to extraction point echo. Alpha target will glow blue, bravo glow red. The field is sharp, but your strength position and marks are hidden from each other. The forest rustled softly around them, mechanically live and wind combined so perfectly it was hard to tell what was really and what wasn't. The guards, he said, passing slowly between the two groups, sketches was the first. They are programmed to respond to three things: heat, sound, and motion. If you if a god tag you, either the digit hit, proximity, look, or physically capture, you will be neutralized. All of you students extend glance at each other. You will feel a pulse. Plainly commanded. Continued. No lateness, but uncomfortable. Then you, Customer, will be detective. Once deactivated, you are extracted, huh, from the simulation and transformed to the observation desk to watch the remaining of this mission. There will be no re-entries, no second chance. So basically, don't get caught teleported. You will not know where the other team being, nor the position of your target. You will however know this. His eye flicks around briefly. Failure has consequences. Learn how in a controlled environment or learn the hard way out there. A low plused through the forest flowers. Simulations, intelligent announced, and voice announced overhead, fault and toneless. Once the countdown finish, the mission will start. Good luck, Commander Kish spoke as he lifted his hand to his black table and bing the countdown. The voice droned. 5. The air thickened. The forest held its breath. 4. The low hum built underfoot. The same stick like energy I would feel before a storm. 3. The holographic mist shimmed coolly through the tree like fog. 2. Flanny adjusted his stance, his expression focused. Stay cool, close, he murmured. 1. Everything went black. Not darkness, absence, no sound, no air, no sentences. For a split second, I actually felt weightless. Then light. The world blinked back into existence in rush of noise and color. The forest around us was alive again. Mist challenging to the ground. The sound of resulting levels whispered through the canopia. I couldn't help but gasp and stumbling a step forward. Flanny hand caught my elbow, intentively studying me. Adia and Alex were beside us, and the rest of the group was already looking around, but the other team was gone. The clearing where that two stood moment before was empty, nothing but tall grasses and echo of the wind. The space looked untouched, as though they had never been there at all. All our wristband pinging at the same time. Oh, fan blew full. What? Look like we are live, Flynn spoke. The map flickering, showing the faint outline of the forest and a single fashioning dot which showed us where we were located. Adira exhaled. So they really dumped us in the middle of the forest with robotic god and said, good luck, great. Frenny smirked slightly. That's the idea. A faint rustle came from somewhere deep in the trees. I turned towards my heart quickenings, nothing but shadow. क्या हुआ? I was on edge. Flanny expressing HARD and D, hardened, locking into focus. Let's move. We'll head north stick to the rigid line and try not to make any noise. We all looked around the nodded, agreeing to let Flenny take the head. I think we all knew Flenny was our strongest member. So, 10 40 seconds और our toughest guy. Where is Flenny? Strongest member. The team started forward, carefully quiet. The forest floor was damp and soft under our boots. The air hummed faintly with unseen take, but the sound, the tipping water, the wind brushing through the levels, it all felt impossible real. As we winced into the tree, somewhere far across the simulation, another group materialized in their own cleaning plankton team, unaware of just how close or how far the hunt had already begun. We are on 33 and we have almost how many we can say 44. अभी हम लोग के पास 11 बचे हैं भाई, 11 चैप्टर्स और बचे हैं। अगर हम एक दिन में 2 करते हैं तो 11 को करने में हम लोग को 5 दिन, 5.5 दिन कह सकते लग सकता है। तो देखते हैं 5.5 दिन तक हम कैसे पढ़ते हैं भाई। तो अभी हम 33 पे हैं एंड नाउ वी आर कंटिन्यूइंग नेक्स्ट चैप्टर। This simulation forest felt too real. The air was heavy and damp, the ground unseen and slick beneath our boots. Even breath down in sense of moss, break and something metallic that hummed faintly in air. The system illusion of life. Flanny crunched over his wrist to display the fragrance blue map bursting across his face. Kira landed. Falling. So we are supposed to find something that doesn't exist on the map. Flanny excelled, though his noise. Pretty much, Commander Kelly said the marker's location changes every time the simulation restarts. So, we are guessing, Adira said flatly. Flanny nodded once. Mhm. Guessing the tracking pattern. If it's a retrieval mission, it is probably protected. That means higher guard activity in the area. That's where we head. I skimmed the forest around us, my gaze up, so we look for movements, patrols, sometime out of rhythm. Exactly, Flanny tapped the display of his watch and stood up. We'll cover more grounds if we split up into pairs. If you see guards, don't engage unless you have to. Remember to one hit and you are out. Stay. I noted focusing my focus at the simulation forest chair cracks like it's breathing. Branches stirring rhythm, the sound almost alive. I can feel eyes watching cameras, maybe, or Commander Kelly himself monitoring us. Fanny pointed our direction with quick precision. Octavia, you are with me covering the east sector. Adira and Alex head west. Kira and Lima take the steam part past South and Sahara. And now you swing north. You have 15 minutes to meet at this midpoint. He opened the map up again for the one last time. If you are not ready by then, we assume you have been tagged and out of the simulation. Everyone clear? Yeah, clear. Everyone, though I was in the midset of the fake forest and about to fight whatever is coming my way, I couldn't help but find Flanny lending our group activities, taking actions by leading everyone. It was kind of hot. I adjusted my wrist straps and taken the strap off my pocket, feeling the faint weight to the issuing knife, the real blade and doubled heavy. Alright, Flanny said, screaming the forest on the last time. Move quiet. If you see anything, single ones, don't engage unless you have to. The team broke off and we all disappeared into our pairs. I followed closely behind Flanny, my eyes darting between trees, every sound amplified by the simulation hyper. Real acoustic, the leaf crunches sound like thunder. Where do you think the Marcus is? I asked softly, trying not to be too loud. My bed, north, rigid, he replied, keeping his voice low also. Trains harder up there, make sense of height. And the guards, he glanced over his shoulder, expression unreadable. There will be plenty. We moved in silence for a few minutes, sweeping the bushes and shadow. I could feel my heart singing with the rhythm of my steps, controlled, steady, and sharp. The forest wasn't fighting, it was too familiar. Let's cut around the fallen tree. Flanny murmured to me. The map says there's clearing up ahead. We all regroup there if we are get separated. I nodded, trying to stay silent and ducking beneath a low branch. Then a loud branch snapped, and I turned around, and nothing. My heart skipped a beat. I needed to stay close to Flanny. I turned back to reach back with him, and I saw nothing. He was gone. Flanny, I whispered. No response, just trees and silence. A shiver crawled up my spine. I spun slowly, trying to scan the forest floor for any footstep pressed into a soft dirt. I kept walking forward, knowing he that has to be where Frenny went. Something rustled behind me again, but before I could turn around, and Ha's hand clamped around my wrist, wearing it behind my back and forcing me against a hard tree. Back dug into my shoulder and my back getting scraped my by the roughness of the tree. I grasped trying to twist free, but their grip tightened. I didn't want to open my eyes. It was instance. My eyes glued shut, waiting for me physically contact. Then a low voice appeared close to my ear. You really shouldn't wandered out here all alone, precious. My second dropped. I didn't even need to open my eye to know who it was. Landon. खतरनाक आदमी है रे भाई लंदन से ही पकड़ लेता है किसी तरह इसको अरे भाई यार तेरे के जर वैसा आदमी हो गया कहीं से पकड़ लेगा क्या तेरे के जर He stepped closer as I opened my eyes, realizing my wrist only when he was sure I wasn't going anywhere. His expression was calm, but his eyes were sharper. Let the let that be lesson number two, he said, voice cutting though the quiet. He stood close enough that the air between us felt thin, his grips firm but effortless, as if pinning me to the tree took no strength at all. A faint smirk curved on his mouth, but his eyes stayed cold. Get off me! I snapped, trying to wrench free, but his hold didn't even shift. He leaned in a fraction, the mockery in his voice. Sharpening your thing. This is a game. You lose focus for 1 second and you dead. My plus kicked, but I met his stray away anyway. Why don't you kill me then? You seem to think I won't survive. I snapped back. He looked at me, blinkly looked at me, his eyes cutting though me and his brows knocked though as he looked down on me. Before I could blink, he caught my other wrist and had both my wrists being held by his hand. His right hand then quickly and smoothly slid into my front pocket. My heart skipped a beat and severe sent down my spine. He was quick, practiced, and unwavering confident. My stomach twisted as I spoke. What the hell are you doing? He stepped back a little, twiddling my knife that he pulled out between his fingers, the metal glinting faintly in the deep light. Let's see how long you can last without this. He then let go of my wrist and stepped back. My wrist tingled from where his grip was, and my breath was short. He then smirked, glancing over his shoulder towards the tree. Oh, a pussy! Oh, and pussy! He paused. I founded in confusion right before he pressed something on his wrist. भाई खतरनाक आदमी ये तो then a faint beeping started sounding right underneath me. The forest eruption in moment. Metallic footstep pounding through the underbrush. The unmistakable sound of simulation guarded closing in a drone in the sky, humming towards us. My pulse peaked and my heart dropped to the bottom of my stomach as he set me up, knowing it will be hard to get out of this. You set me up. I yell out. मतलब मैं चिल्लाई. Yell. He stood there for a brief second. Lesson 3, he called. Trust will get you killed. Wow. Lesson तो खतरनाक दे रहे. He turned around and ran into the distance, the forest swelling him quickly. I sorrow under my breath as I tried to think about how I'm going to get out of this. My heart hammered, half from fear, half from fury. Fury that he was able to set me up and ambush me. For half a second I stood there, but then my instinct took over. I ran. It was like my body moved from before my mind caught up. Feet spilling in the mulch, shoulder brushing rock back bark as I ducked behind a fallen log. My pulse pounded so loud I was sure the gods could hear it. The forest simulation came alive around me, red sensor swimming. Though the mist आज पानी डालेंगा तभी ना पिएगा and मेरी जान. Okay. I press myself fatter to the ground as one passed within metrics of my heading place. Heading place. Where is heading place? Okay. I could see the fan plus in the screen thicker, rooting across the unbrushed like a heartbeat. My mind, and I said there is a clearance drive. Clearance drive. Like a heartbeat. My mind spins thing. The wine shifted, tying alien tan of summer and from London had triggered. It masked my scan signature. Briefly, confusion. The senior, a smile window, second maybe. I said, I slid along the ground, itching towards a thicker patch of barcane. My top anchored on a root. I bait back a crush and got it free. Every sound felt too loud. Another got toned. The mechanical rose searching. I froze, counting the second in my head. 5, 6, 7, until I turned away again. It turned away again. I moved then faster but careful, slipping between the trees, keeping low until the sound flattered behind me. When I finally stopped, my chest ached from holding my breath. The forest was quiet again, but the silence filled off. I pressed my back to the tree and closed my eyes for seconds, trying to stay myself. My knife was gone. My pulse still raced, but I was alive and not out. Somehow I had slipped the trap. I opened my eyes and scanned the wood again. No guards, no footsteps, no London. Just the whisper of leaves in a fake bridge. Lesson 3. Huh. I murmured to myself, jaw thinking, we'll see about that. Then I started moving again, quieter. Time, this time, sharper, my mind already flickering through the layouts of the forests. I worked to prove him wrong. I had have to survive the rest of the mission and maybe, just maybe, beat Landon at his own game. The goal is so dedicated. So should I. We are moving to our next chapter, chapter 34. Wow. A sip of water. The forest priest closed against me, all shadow and okay. The forest pressed close against me, all shadow and sticks of thick parasol. Beneath the trees, I followed my steps, listening. Every rustle made me blink. Every faint flicker of light felt like the threat. I had been moving on my own for ten minutes, nearly 10 minutes. Now my breath was sharper and quicker, my pulse still unsteady from what happened only moment ago. A voice cut to the quiet. Octavia! My head snapped. Flanny voice. Low, urgent, and familiar. A relief flooded through me as he appeared between the trees, his stick studded with dirt, his chest rising fast from running. Thankfully, I'm all good. I said, focusing my voice stated. You look a little rattled. I let out a weak laugh. No, 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 no. Yeah, well, you know how defend yourself when you are alone. He also did. Let out a laugh, small laugh. Come on, we need to keep moving. The other are still out there. Haven't found them yet? Then let's find them. And so we moved forward. Side by side, though the thick bush, bush. जिंदगी में हो तो जीना सीखो. Now, continuing to our next slogan. Come on, we need to keep moving. The others are still out there. Have found them yet? Then let's find them. And so we move forward. Side by side, the air is unusual. For all while we said nothing, just follow the fans to the nose. Setting our second for anything thanks. After a few moments, fans spoke again. You see, I saw as. Then on film. My thought says, no, the small and large man box. Fine look at me with an unconvinced face. Right? Well, we have also out an hour and a half before the simulation ends. Commander K said there's still a marker out there somewhere. If we don't see any signs as these things, we had better move fast. I push for the seats and this tiny glass is us. Over here, I whispered. We jogged along a bench and stepped into a small checkening where Azira, Alex, Kira, Lima, and Sarah crouched behind a half-fallen log. Their faces were first, unformed, staked with mud. Phoenix called. There you guys are. Azira stood up first, eyes widened. Flanny, we thought you both might got caught. We did lose contact for a while, Flanny said, glanced around at. Everyone's alright, Kira whispered, sweet from her temper. Her temper. Where's temper? Noise out, good target not along. Sarah's voice whispered as spoke. Her sensors pimped yups. He was heading near right up to their chest. They know exactly where he was. He detected. Lenny murmured while he founded Max sense. इसको इसको ओढ़ना ही पड़ेगा भाई, इसको ओढ़ना ही पड़ेगा. ऐसे करके तभी जाके थोड़ा सा ठंडा हटेगा, तो ठंडा लगते रहेगा. Before that's why they forced us out there before sunrise. I crouched crushed down beside the group. How far are we from where we need to go be? We need to be. Not far, Alex said, checking his wrist display. Maybe a kilometer north. Give attack. Tyrion looks open through no curve. Planet took a deep breath. His skin shined from a humid air and slightly sweat on his forehead. His hair messy and clothes dirty. Alright, we move north again as a group. Stay low. Keep quiet. Eye out for drone guard. They are adapting to movement now. We'll sue the creep line for particular cover until he hit the drone zone. We all note and began to move quickly and tense. The forest canopy thickened overhead, dimming the light into an artificial dusk. Everyone feels every fee step came the faint mechanical hum, like the forest was breathing. Wow. We climbed a ridge and started down the other side, mud slick underfoot. My heart was humming again, but not from fear, from the gut feeling that something was about to go wrong. And I was right. A red light blinked in a shadow ahead, faint at first. Down, Flanny, I said. Everyone dropped. A swarm to drone of drone rose from the trees. Slick and black, their sensors beams swept through the clearing in precise acres. Move, Alex shouted. We broke into a sprint, pushed pounding the red beam, crossing the tear alarm, blaring. One beam skimmed Sarah. So she stumbled, screaming, and vanished in a flash of red. Target tagged. Sarah, Kira shouted, tracking out, but Flanny pulled her back. Keep moving. The hum grew louder. The air vibrating with the drone movement. A second beam caught Lehman's mid-step. He outlined flickered, glowed, and then disappeared. Two down, Adira guessed, ducking behind the tree. My heart was racing, pounding. They are looking on to our hurt, Alex shouted. My brain tickled over and over. Flanny sorrow under his breath. We need cover now. My eye darted across the landscape. All I could see was rock, trees, and the giant grand water of distance. That's it, the muddy water. The crack I hurled over three. The group didn't hesitate. We bolted towards the sound of rushing water, sliding down a muddy bank and spilling into the shallow checks. The cold hit instantly, biting into Octavia's leg, but she pushed through, crossing low as the other followed. Stay still and get all the way under, I whispered. The water was murk, thick with silt the level. I snagged down until only my eyes broke the surface. The other did the same. The sound of our breathing, shallow and controlled. Ever worse, the drones hovered. Their red lights swept the bank, scanning, and then fatally, the heat reading vanished. After what felt forever, the hum faded. One by one, the drone drifted off into the distance, their lights disappearing between the trees. The trees. Once then did we all collectively breathe again. Flanny looked over at me, shocked to his eyebrow. ELB's elbows. How did you? Watermax hit signature. I said quietly. At least I should give. Allah is said, remember, we to never doubt your instant again. Adira Sivat beside us is served as us. We all consistently laugh together while taking a quick moment to recollect ourselves. We survived bravely. Franny excelled. Alright, even though we lost Lima and Sarah, we need to keep moving. Time's running out. We climbed slowly out of the crack. ग्यारह दस हो गया है बस यही अभी आधा बचा हुआ गाइस We climbed slowly out of the peaks, keeping a silent and pressed on into the thick forest ahead. A smaller group now, but still moving, still breathing, still fighting to reach the marker. Flaring voice was steady, but his eyes were alert, covered the rear of me. Yeah, just make sure nothing sneaks up on us. I nodded, tightened and stepped my glove. Go. I'll watch behind you guys. He gave me a quick half smile before jogging after the other. Bush thundered softly in the dump. First, for their voice faded into the trees, followed by the thick air artificial mist that pushed through the simulation. I exhaled slowly and let the quiet wrap around me. The forest felt alive, dipping leaves, low hums from hidden drones, the faint streak of energy, where reality blurred into a program. I scanned the shadow behind, them watching their movement. Something shifted into the distance, two shapes cutting through the fog. I dropped instantly, my knees hitting the mud. Eyes narrowing, though the screen of ferns, my breath froze in my throat. The trailer, one moved first, purposely heavy with command land on. Even from here, I could recognize his rigid posture, the calm and in the way he looked around as if everything belonged to him. Another boy followed, whispering something I could catch. My pulse calmed, the sound of it like a drum in my ear. I should just break away, circle around, finding plenty against, but then the light caught on something metallic at hip, London's hip. A flash of silver, I knew instantly. My knife. That the one he had taken from me. Then one that made me feel like I didn't belong here. The tremor rolled through my hands, but I still did it. I have survived worse than this. I Tomura rolled through my hand, but still I said it. I have survived worse than this. I focused on my knife, not him. Every muscle remembered what it meant to stay invisible. My palms sank into the damp earth. I eased forward on my elbows, carefully not to disturb the leaves. The forest noises layered over my movements. An electronic drone was close. It felt too familiar, being small, being quiet, knowing that one sound could mean pain. I swallowed hard to keep crawling. 10 meters, 7 meters, 5. Landon stopped suddenly, crouching beside a broken drone, half brushed in mud. His partner knelt with him, voices low. My heart hammed. I was close enough to see the fat step on his belt, the way the knife handle against just centimeters. away from his body. I was acting of interacting again. I need to think how how I am going to pull it off. If he notices me, he'll end me. I reached sideways, fingers brushing over wet moss until I found a smooth pebble. P E W L E pebble. With a shallow breath, I flicked my wrist. The pebble paled. कहाँ पे भाई? Pikachu. Pikachu. I crossed the clearing and struck a fallen trunk with a muttered crack. Both heads snapped towards the sound. You hear that? Langdon muttered. His partner grunted, scaring the area. They both moved towards the noise, their backs facing me. I slipped forward like water finding a path downhill. My knees soaked the, the mud. My heart beat time to each careful inch. I smelled the metallic tang of the drone battery, the faint spike of lanthorns training uniform when I got closer enough. I moved closer until I was right behind me. I was so silent he couldn't hear me. I just had to keep it that way. My fingers brushed the cloud, stealth handle. One slow breath, one pull. The knife slid free without a sound. I didn't wait. I pressed it felt against my forearms and crawled backward into the cove of frame, dripped, setting my cheeks, breathing, tumbling, the twin sharply somewhere behind me. Langdon turned sharply, his eyes cutting through the trees. I paused, holding my breath until my legs burned. After a moment, he muttered something to his partner and moved on. Only when their footsteps faded that I allowed myself to breathe again. I stared down at the knife, resting against my palm, mud, skill and familiar. My chest tightened not just with the relief but something fierce and electric. I got the knife back. He and he is never going to know until I saw him after the mission. Two can two can play at this game. Go on. And we somehow I have completed our today's chapter and we are now on 35 and we have almost 9 chapter left. So for today this is all from my side guys. Good night, have a good day, have a sweet dream. We'll meet tomorrow. Bye bye, bye bye. It's time to sleep. Good night, good night, good night, good night guys, good night, bye bye. Bye guys, bye bye. जाओ जाके सो जाओ भाई. Bye bye.